They say progression is the key. But when we progress in life or whatever we do, what are those mistakes that actually stall our journey or stop us from actually achieving the right results that we should be achieving? Hi, I'm Dia Asrani and I'm your personal branding coach. And in this particular video, we are going to be talking a lot on five dangerous mistakes that you are making on your journey to building a personal brand presence. Okay. Now, as you can see, you being an entrepreneur, a coach, or a trainer, you are creating something for people, right? You're creating something that would actually help people move forward in their lives. Whatever it is, it could be a product, it could be a service, it could be a system, a strategy, whatever you're doing it, you're creating it, keeping your experience, your thought process, and your creativity in mind, right? So I thought, okay, why not talk to you about these 5 dangerous mistakes that we make, which is very common, which usually goes unnoticed, and we often don't realize that we're making these mistakes on our way. Okay, the very first one which I want to talk about is, which is actually very common, okay, that many of us do it, and even the best of experts do this, which is focusing only on selling. Okay, now I had this chat with one of a client of mine, and I just asked this one question: what is the difference between marketing and marketing to benefit, right? So when they said that marketing equals selling, straight away that's like a common notion that we have when we are building our own presence, right? So when it comes to selling a product or a service, there has to be a journey that leads to the person buying that product, right? It should not be straight away that, okay, we get on a call and then I tell you that I do this and I sell my product. No, it's not that, which is the biggest mistake that we as entrepreneurs make. Okay, especially when we are in this situation where we have worked so hard, we have built such a robust system, we have built a strategy, and now we feel, okay, we have every right to sell our product or sell our service. But we don't realize that the whole journey that we created is something that people are more interested in than the end result, which is selling a product. Okay, so even the biggest brands, I will not name those brands, but the biggest personal brands, they end up selling left, right, and center without even realizing that there's a whole thought process behind that, right? And you want people to know about the thought process. You want people to know that you have built this around a vision, around something that would lead to the next step. Yeah. So that, having said that, this becomes a mistake because we tend to feel that, okay, business means make money. It means, okay, I built this, I want to make money, I want to live a good life. Yes, you want to make money, you want to build a good lifestyle, you want to have a freedom-based lifestyle, whatever it is. But the mistake is that we only focus on that. Okay, we don't focus on actually giving value. That's the first one. The second mistake that we often make as entrepreneurs, coaches, and trainers is saying yes for everything that comes to us. Whether it is a project that we have never done, or a topic that we don't focus on, or something that people just want you to do because they don't have anyone else to do it for them, you just say yes and you go with it. Okay, now this happens usually with people who are really desperate to make money. Okay, and when you are building a passion-driven business, or you're creating something that is revolving around your passion, you really need to understand that you need to say no for many things. Okay, now this is a mistake that I have made many times as a trainer and coach myself, wherein I have just said yes, I will do this topic when I've never done it. Okay, and that has actually been like it has worked really not in my favor. Okay, so I wanted to actually share this as a mistake that we make, because I just feel that when you are saying that I can do this and that, what are people knowing you for? For everything? Are you generalizing on what you are doing or what you're good at? You are actually disrespecting the fact that you have created something so powerful and so meaningful as a personal brand presence. Okay, that's your second mistake. Your third mistake, which I would like to, kind of highlight over here, is poor online presence. Now, this is a question a lot of clients, a lot of students ask me. Okay, they say that, okay, I'm an introvert, or I have never been on social media, so how do I build an online presence? Can I do it without building an online presence? My answer straightforwardly to you is that we live in a generation wherein, or rather in the time of the world wherein everything is digital. Okay, whether it is booking a service online, booking a product online, getting on a call online, getting on webinars, getting on master classes, anything that requires you to actually showcase what you're doing and how you're going to add value to your customers or to your audience, you need to do it online. And for that, you need an online presence, because the first thing, which is, even research as well says that when people search for, a service, they want to look at the person who has created the service. Let's think of ClickFunnels. I'm sure, you would have seen ClickFunnels is a landing page builder, right? It's one of the most famous. So the first thing that people notice, they say, okay, ClickFunnels is awesome, but who's the guy behind it? And they go Google, and then you see all those the topics, or the different things that he has done and how he has built his presence. So similarly, I would really like you to understand that building an online presence is like oxygen for your personal brand presence. Okay, as a business creator, as somebody who's trying to make a difference in the world. Yeah. Number 4, not having a strong why. Okay, now this is something that a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm just starting a business to make money. Why? Oh, to make money. Why? Because I want to live a good life. Okay, but why? Why are you building this business? Why can't you just invest in something and just make money in rents? So here's where it becomes something where you need to have an answer for why are you doing this. It should be something wherein okay, I'm building this particular business because I want to help people XYZ, or I want to help people become better versions of themselves. I want them to build personal brand. I want them to build a business. Whatever it is, whatever your why is, but your why has to be so strong that people will come to you and they'll get to know you better. Okay? And this is the mistake we make, because we keep saying business equals money. Like the first mistake, like I spoke about, which was focusing only on selling, because in the end you're focusing only on making money, but you're not focusing on how good your product or service really is. Yeah. And my 5th and final mistake, which I really want to share with you, is compromising on being unique. Okay. Now, this is why I call this a mistake, is because a lot of people, because they want fast results, okay, they want to achieve success overnight. They feel that, okay, the best thing to do is, she or he was successful through that strategy or system. I'll copy the same thing. I'll do the same thing. I'll achieve the same results. I'll follow the same exact thing, and let's see if I also become successful. You're building on something that is somebody else's success. Okay. Now, a lot of people have this thing that, okay, how did they make so many X amount of lakhs or dollars just doing this when I'm doing the same thing and not making much money? The point is that everyone's journey, everyone's way of doing things is unique. Okay, so you need to focus on how you can be unique in your industry. So you cannot really control the number of people who join your industry. There are so many software engineers, there are so many entrepreneurs, there are so many coaches, there are so many people who are into business, there are so many people who really want to build brands. Okay, they all have different strategies of doing this. And today now, digital marketing, you name it, social media marketing, these are the things that people are rooting for because they feel that this is what their audience needs, right? But what makes them different? The way they approach it. The uniqueness part of it. Like, okay, if I'm going to be a personal branding coach, everyone's doing, I can't stop people from being personal branding coaches. I have to do it in my way, which I feel will be different from the rest. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm not saying, okay, I want to build my competition. I want to show them that I'm much better than them. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm trying to tell you is that I want to be different. I want my self-expression, I want my reputation to revolve around what I'm good at. And that's what brings out the uniqueness. Okay, so whatever your journey, whether it's journey that will take maybe a month to get successful. It could take 6 months, it could take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, maybe sometimes even a decade to become successful. It's absolutely fine. You're doing what you love, and you're doing it with a lot of integrity, authenticity, and value. Okay, which is what every entrepreneur, every trainer or coach should understand, that you're doing it to serve value, not to just make a difference and to say, okay, I made these many lakhs or these many dollars, so I will go ahead and I'll make a difference in the world. All right, so these are dangerous mistakes. Okay, they look very okay, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but then they are dangerous mistakes. They are mistakes that can actually end your whole business journey. Okay, so do not make these mistakes, and focus on how you are going to take things forward in a way that you don't focus only on making money, only on the end result. You focus on the journey, you focus on the mini goals, and you focus on every aspect of your passion driven business. Because today, as we speak, we are in the time when the pandemic is going on. The world is shaken up by the pandemic. So this is the time where you actually can rework, refine, utilize the time to change things and to build that personal brand presence where people can trust.